How to stop reacting to the 3D when you cannot ignore it. Stay tuned because we're going to be breaking that down in this video.
Hey lovelies, welcome back to the Manifestation Sisters community. My name is Leah.
My name is Tia.
Here on this channel, we are helping you to master your mind and manifest all of your desires. If you want to go to that next level, me and Tia do offer our one-to-one next level you coaching, and we also have something very exciting launching soon. So if you want to find out more about that, the link is in the description box down below. We also offer our bundles, which can really help you get on top of your mental diet, your self-talk, to really manifest what it is that you want. And if you want to find out more about that, the link is in the description box down below as well. So let's jump into the video.
One thing that we want to start the video off by saying is it's okay to react. We're having a human experience. So there will be times when you have a reaction in your 3D, but it's about mitigating the responses by responding and choosing something. It's not about the reaction. It's about how long you stay there, how you choose to respond to the 3D. Because what is a reaction? It's essentially an internal response to an external or internal activity. So when you have a reaction to a person, a situation, a circumstance, it's the meaning that you are assigning to that circumstance, which is making you have an internal and sometimes external response. For example, if someone's pissed you off, or SV saying the opposite to what you want, or you've spent all your money before your next payday. These external situations cause an internal reaction, your thinking and feeling state, and then you might cause an internal reaction such as feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you don't have enough money, feeling like there's no good men in your life, which then reinforces a self-concept and a story and a belief. And the reason why we're breaking this down, guys, is by one, knowing that it's okay to react, and two, understanding that in that reaction, it's then how you choose to respond. And that response is how you start to program, identify, and choose to be a different version of you, create different belief systems, which will then create different perspectives and how you then identify with the 3D.
And this is why I feel like the nervous system regulation and the self-concept identity work go hand in hand. Because
I agree.
When you start to work on new beliefs, when you start to program in a new identity for yourself, your mind is very wired and familiar with the old, outdated identity, and you will have triggers and responses to keep you safe, right? And our triggers are our teachers, and our triggers come up because they're the limited part of ourselves that's really trying to keep us safe, because our nervous system tries to keep us safe. You know, we have a fight and flight, and what we want to do is really relax ourselves back into our relax and rest. So when we're starting to play new stories and new narratives, when we're working on our self-concept, it feels so foreign, it feels so unfamiliar. So your mind is like, well, what are you talking about? Like, remember when this happened? Or something happens in the 3D that causes you to react, but what it's reactivating is your belief system. It's reactivating those parts of you that don't feel worthy, don't feel good enough, feel like things doesn't last. Whatever your beliefs are, they're just being activated. So they're coming up to be released in a sense. They're coming up to be, for you to shine a light on it, to be like, okay, I don't have to keep identifying with this old version of myself. What can I do in this moment to regulate that part of myself, to release those beliefs? And this is why we say regulating your nervous system with breath work, EFT, somatic shaking, whatever it is you want to do for yourself in those moments, to really relax yourself so that you can start to accept those new beliefs and those stories more easily into your new identity, because you can start to feel safe in now believing, yes, I am this version of myself. This is how this version of me thinks. And then your nervous system is going to get on board with that.
Yeah, and I think to really help you home in on this, the reason why it's always about you doing nervous system regulation, we're coming back to your power to regulate yourself, is because you will start to program in a new dominant thinking and feeling state. And if we think about this like this, if someone said to you something in another language, like someone you didn't know come up to you and said, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're never going to have what it is that you want, you don't know what they're saying. So you can't perceive that and react and identify with that story again. But if someone says that and in a language that you understand, your dominant native language, like English for us, you would then perceive that, identify with it, and internalize that story to the already existing beliefs that you have internally, if that's something that you think and perceive subconsciously. And what you're doing is, like Leah said, you're just reacting to already existing part within you, already existing story, already existing narrative. So when you start to do nervous system regulation, when you start to be conscious of your thinking and feeling state and what then triggers are coming up as, then you start to take your power back, because you're choosing to no longer re-identify, react, reconnect with that version of you. You're essentially soothing it. You're soothing it, and in the process choosing to respond differently, which therefore starts to rewrite and change that part of you. You're no longer choosing to keep that part of you active. You're then going to show up as, for example, you get something shitty in the 3D, instead of reacting, re-identifying and giving it the meaning of that's who I am, you're going to react maybe, but then choose to respond and be like, what is my truth here? No, I am chosen. I am enough. I always get what it is that I want through changing the different story, as well as calming your body down through nervous system regulation and processing that emotion. The combination of nervous system regulation, in my opinion, and the self-concept work, like you said, is the way we start to respond differently to our 3D. Is the way that when there are certain reactions, yes, that's fine, but then I know how to take my power back from this. Even if I can't ignore it, I can regulate, soothe myself, and then internally start to feel better, think better thoughts, and return back to my power.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think every time that we react to something, okay, I know why I'm reacting, because maybe in the 3D you've seen something that you don't like, or SP has said something you don't like, or you're fearing that you don't have enough money. Okay, this is letting me know that I have a limiting belief here. It's letting me know that I still don't feel this way about myself. Okay, let me soothe that part of myself, and then I'll reinforce my new story, because we've had it with clients and like, I'm trying to affirm over these triggers, I'm trying to affirm over these spirals.
Yeah.
But the more we do that, we keep it activated, because it's like sticking a band-aid over it, because we're not really dealing with, that part of us that doesn't feel good enough, that doesn't feel worthy. We're just trying to affirm over it, and that never worked for me, and it doesn't work for me now. Like, if I'm triggered with something, I would rather soothe that part of me so I can release that limiting belief within me that's still giving the meaning that I'm not good enough to have something, or something isn't for me, or whatever it is. I get to release it by the way I choose to respond to it. Okay, if I react to it, it's fine, but the more I keep soothing that part of me, I'm releasing that belief within me. I'm no longer keeping it active. The duration, the frequency, and the intensity of that is going to dissipate, right? It's going to dissipate, and then eventually that's not going to have an emotional reaction with me anymore. Like we say in our videos, reverse engineer anything that's happened to you in your life, right? That thing is something that you've got over, a limiting belief that you've released. You now can think of it, and it doesn't even have an emotional effect on you. You're no longer getting triggered by it, because you don't have that belief system that supports that trigger, right? There's no belief system to support that old experience anymore. Like, you've gotten over it.
Yeah, you've processed it. And I love that, because I was just thinking, and then you said it. And then what this process will look like is you keep showing up for yourself, you keep choosing, you keep deciding, you keep responding, you keep regulating yourself, that emotion, that thinking and feeling state. What happens as you start to choose, you start to decide, you start to regulate, the intensity, like Leah said, the frequency and duration starts to lessen, but simultaneously you're becoming the version of yourself that doesn't really have that trigger anymore. And although certain events that triggered you in the past may still come up, you know how to respond to them, and you respond to them differently. You respond to them from that place of knowing your power, knowing how to regulate, knowing that that's maybe not a part of you that's triggered anymore. It's just a process that you keep showing up to. It's a process that you keep doing on a moment-to-moment basis. And what you'll find is, on this process of you getting what it is that you want, as you grow, as you evolve, you know how to handle your 3D better. And I really want to hone this in. It's not like, the goal isn't necessarily to be like this unbreakable human, I never react, I never get triggered person, because we're having human experiences. A lot of these experiences give us clarity, allow us to know what it is that we do want from the experience, from the perspective shift, from the understanding and the learning experience. However, we know how to handle them, we know how to respond to them, and we know how to return back to that neutral state a lot quicker than spiraling for maybe a week, a month, or even longer. You start to return back to your power more quickly, more effortlessly, more easily. And that's where the decision, the choice, and the regulation comes in.
Yeah, exactly. I think about it as well, like in a relationship, right? Sometimes we might have a trigger with our partner. Sometimes we might get in an altercation where it triggers a part within ourselves. And it's like, oh, okay, I can see that something within this conversation has triggered me. What meaning did I give to it? And it's just about having awareness. It's like, I can step back from it and be like, oh, okay, it triggered this part of me. Cool. Doesn't mean like I'm not good enough. Doesn't mean like my partner doesn't love me. It just means like there was a little part within me that still felt like maybe I wasn't being seen enough, or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to always make it mean like, oh my God, that's it. I've still got more work to do. There's still more limiting beliefs to release. But like Tia said, it's just just coming up just to reveal something to you, so you can just work through it. Like Tia said, it doesn't mean that we're never going to get triggered again or things aren't going to come up for us, because we are in this human experience. It's just how we choose to now deal with the thing and live our lives so that we can actually have, you know, our tools there that we can shift these things within ourselves. And then after we deal with these triggers and stuff, we remind ourselves of our truth. We remind ourselves of who we are. We decide the stories and the meanings and narratives that we want to continue going forward with. And I think that's how we really do handle the 3D, because we know the 3D is old. It's an old echo to where we once was, right? But it doesn't mean that we have to keep re-identifying with what's going on with the 3D. We can take our power back from it. We're in this human experience. We can dance with the 3D, knowing that if something triggers us, okay, I know how to deal with it. Then I know how to take my power back.
That's why nervous system regulation changes the game.
Yes.
So if you can't ignore your current 3D, if it's in your face, deal with that part of you, handle that part of you, regulate that part of you, choose and decide how you are then going to respond to it to get yourself back into that regulated, calm, neutral space.
Yes, exactly. And I think this is the way we stop letting things have so much power over us. I really feel like I wish I knew about nervous system regulation firstly on my journey with the self-concept work, because I was just doing a lot of self-concept and things like that, and I was still getting very heavily triggered by the 3D. But when I learned about nervous system regulation and doing obviously the identity work and work on that part of me to create safety with that new belief system, you know, you find that you don't react to things as much because you've got so much more knowledge now to know what the 3D is and why things are showing up, because they're just a reflection of us, right? And it's really freeing.
Take your power back. You take your power back, and it's so useful. So yeah, really hope that this video helped you on how to handle your 3D when you cannot ignore it, through choosing your power, going within and deciding. Thank you so much for joining us and making it to the end of the video. Thank you for liking, subscribing and commenting if you have, because we really appreciate this growing community. As we said at the beginning of this video, make sure you're on our email list if you don't want to miss what we're launching. And we have our one-to-one coaching and affirmation bundles to help you in whatever area of your journey that you're at. That being said, guys, we'll see you in the next video.